is Jeopardy! Please welcome our contestants. Player one. Player two. Player three. And now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Rivet.
Thank you, Johnny Gilbert. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Let's take you right now into the Jeopardy round. Clues are worth $200 to $1,000 in these categories. MapQuest, sounds like do, re, mi, etc. Fictional characters. Ike speaks. NHL, NBA, NFL, or all three. And elementary. Where do we begin, player one? A Katharine Hepburn memoir. Let's hear it, player three.
Yeah! Woo!
Player three, where do we start? It's a long, long way to go to this 20th letter of the Arabic alphabet. Okay, player one. No. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Okay, player three. You are correct. Player three, choose again. Bangladesh produces about 60,000 metric tons of this a year. We're talking about tea. You again, player three. Double talk phrase that followed ooh in the title of a 1973 album by the Faces. Okay, player one. You got it. Hey, you're on the plus side. Player one, where do we start? It's Spanish for sun. It's player two. No, sorry. Any other takers? Here's the correct response. Soul. Player one, you pick again, please. What a happy ending. This title orphan of a Dickens novel is adopted by Mr. Brownlow. Yes, player one? Woo! Hey, you're right. Player one, pick again. This character in the legend of Sleepy Hollow is said to be the ghost of a Hessian trooper. Yes, player one? Anyone else? Here's the correct response. Headless Horseman. Player one, back to you. She is the narrator of To Kill a Mockingbird. Okay, player two. Yep. Player two, you start. Two names that follow Gerald, who speaks in weird sounds instead of words in a Dr. Seuss story. Let's hear it, player one. Any other takers? Here's the correct response. McBoing boing. Player 2. Pick again. In a story by Rudyard Kipling, this mongoose protects an English family from snakes. Let's hear it, Player 3. Right. A lot of clues, a lot of categories, Player 3. Make us to visit Sensoji Temple in this capital, cross Komagata Bridge, turn right, and walk north on the Nakamisidori. Let's hear it, Player 1. Good for you. Where do we begin, Player 1? The Bible tells us of this element being beaten into plates, cut into wires, and worked into the clothing worn by Aaron. Here's the response we were looking for. Gold. Player 1. Pick again. Pu. But this element, 238, doesn't stink. It powers pacemakers. Yes, Player 3? Sorry, that's wrong. Any other takers? Okay, Player 1? Right, you're out of the hole. Please pick again, Player 1. Answer, it's the Daily Double. You are currently in second place. What'll it be? And the clue. I know Bernard Courtois discovered this element in 1811. Right. Select again. The Kennedy Space Center has used this gas, atomic number 54, in high-intensity lights for night landings. We're talking about xenon. You again, Player 1. This ductile, non-radioactive element has an atomic weight of 26.98. We're talking about aluminum. You again, Player 1. Highest average salary. Yes, Player 1? Nope. Anyone else? We're talking about the NBA. Player 1, choose again. Uses a center. Here's the correct response. All three. You get to pick again, Player 1. Has no teams based outside the continental U.S. Let's hear it, Player 1. Right you are. You get to pick again, Player 1. Plays its championship at a theoretically neutral site. Here's the response we were looking for. The NFL. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. Cancelled regular season games in 2011 due to labor woes. The correct response is NBA. We return to you, player 1. The drive from Denmark to Malmö in this country includes a 5-mile stretch across the Øresund Bridge. Player 2. No. Anyone else? Player 3? Sorry, that's wrong. Any other takers? It's player 1. Good. Select again. From Paris's Royal Saint-Honoré Hotel, walk a half-mile down Rue Saint-Honoré, turn right, and walk into its glass pyramid. Yes, player 1? No, that's not right. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Let's hear it, player 2. No, that's not right. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Let's hear it, player 3. Yep. Where do we begin, player 3? Eisenhower said, "No treaty or international agreement can contravene this document." Let's hear it, player 1. You got it. A lot of clues, a lot of categories, player 1. To visit San Marino, take a winding road up Mount Titano, a short drive from Rimini in this country. Player 3? That is correct. All right, let's get back into this. Player 3 has from Ulaanbaatar, go straight south to Wuhai, flip a left, and go about 500 miles to reach this world capital. Yes, player 1? Good. All right, let's get back into this. Player 1. Of this man's contributions to major White House decisions, Ike said, "If you give me a week, I might think of one." The correct response is Richard Nixon. Player 1. Ike telegrammed that the mission of his Allied force was fulfilled at 0241 hours local time in this month, 1945. The correct response is May. Select again. In 1957, Ike used the full power of the United States to enforce integration at Central High in this city. Okay, player 3? Sorry, that's wrong. Anyone else? We're talking about Little Rock. And here's the $1,000 clue. Eisenhower said appointing him to the Supreme Court was the biggest damn fool mistake I ever made. The correct response is Earl Warren. Player 2, you're going first in the Double Jeopardy round when we return. Clues are worth $400 to $2,000 in these categories. Name that planet. American playwrights. SNL actors in the movies. Party. Historic Munich. And the meaning of the prefix. Player 2, you start. Paper gifts are the traditional gifts at the party for this anniversary of a married couple. It's player 1. Yes. Player 1, you start. Wayne Campbell. Here's the correct response. Mike Myers. Axel Foley. Player 2. Good for you. Okay, let's get back into this. Player 2, you make the next selection as we... Joliet Jake Blues. Yes, player 1. Yep. Player 1, start us. MacGruber. Let's hear it, player 3. That's right, way to go. Player 3, start us. The British passed 1774's Intolerable Acts to punish Massachusetts for a party in its harbor. Okay, player 2. Right, on the plus side again. Where do we begin, player 2? It's the beverage that would be most appropriate at the wild, riotous bacchanalia we've got planned. Here's the response we were looking for. Wine. Player 2, back to you. Oktoberfest is a 16-day party held every year in this Bavarian city. It's player 1. Yes! A lot of clues, a lot of categories, player 1. In Mexico, a quinceañera is a girl's coming-of-age party on this birthday. Let's hear it, player 1. That's correct. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. Mrs. Primat Conehead. Here's the correct response. Jane Curtin. Select again. Hemi. It's player 1. You got it. You get to pick again, player 1. Die, as in dicephalus. Okay, player 2. Yeah! Player 2, start us. Contra. Okay, player 1. That's not it. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? We're talking about against. We return to you, player 2. On Munich's coat of arms, you'll find one of these religious figures who originally settled the city and gave it its name. Okay, player 3. No, sorry. Any other takers? Yes, player 1? Sorry, that's wrong. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Let's hear it, player 2. Good. You get to pick again, player 2. Munich's motto used to be Die Weltstadt mit Herz, the world city with this. Let's hear it, player 3. Sorry. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Okay, player 1. Correct. Player 1, where do we start? Ante. Here's what we wanted. Before. Player 1, back to you. Circum. Here's the response we were looking for. Around. Please pick again, player 1. Christian Huygens wrote about this planet's rings back in 1659. It's player 1. Yeah. That is correct. We return to you, player 1. Instrument-laden rovers landed on this planet in 2004. Okay, player 1. That's correct. You again, player 1. The great red spot on this planet is actually a giant storm. Okay, player 1. Good. Player 1, a year on this planet is 88 days long. Here's what we wanted. Mercury. Player 1, pick again. In the wake of a recent demotion, this is now the outermost planet. Okay, player 2. Good. Okay, let's get back into this. Player 2, you make the next selection as we... True and false. David Mamet's no-nonsense book on this craft includes a chapter called Find Your Mark. Player 1. No. Oh! Anyone else? Okay, player 2. Right. You again, player 2. This playwright once said that his Aunt Belle, a Sunday school teacher, was the prototype of Blanche Dubois. Here's what we wanted. Tennessee Williams. Please pick again. Player 2. You might desire the rings and garters worn by this Desire Under the Elms author. They're in the Yale Library. Here's what we were looking for. Eugene O'Neill. You get to pick again, player 2. Answer? One of the daily doubles. You are currently in second place. How much? All right, here's your clue. Fam and Yam was inspired by a meeting with this playwright for whom life was no picnic. Oh. Nope. Sorry. Here's what we were looking for. William Inge. Player 2, back to you. Pittsburgh's African American Cultural Center was renamed for this piano lesson author, who was born in Pittsburgh. Here's what we wanted. August Wilson. You get to pick again, player 2. Answer. The other daily double. You're in second place, so what is your wager going to be? Player 2, give it. Okay, here is the clue. In 1634 and 1635, this deadly contagion devastated Munich, killing more than 1/3 of its residents. That's right, way to go. Player 2, back to you for our next selection. The Summer Olympics in Munich in this year were sadly marred by terrorism and tragedy. Let's hear it, player 3.
Yes!
Here's the $2,000 clue. In the 16th century, Munich was a center of the German phase of this movement against Protestantism. Here's the correct response. The Counter-Reformation. You all move on to Final Jeopardy, which will continue after these messages. Here's today's Final Jeopardy category. Landmarks. So, what's your wager? All right, players, this is what it comes down to. Here is the Final Jeopardy clue. The landmark site known to the Lakota as Six Grandfathers was renamed this after a prominent lawyer. Did you come up with the correct response? With that correct response, you will gain. Let's see your response. With that correct response, you will gain. What did you put as your response? And that will lose you. Congratulations, player 2. You are our new champion. We'll see you next time.